The image that we have of the Roman Empire in our minds is one of a beautiful era filled with joy and laughter and advancing technology and philosophers. Some of the world's greatest philosophers are from the Roman era. However, this era wasn't as kind to its women as we might have imagined. The punishments bestowed upon the Roman women didn't always fit their crimes. So how were women treated during the times of the Roman Empire? What kind of punishments did the women have to suffer then for the modern women to thrive today? In the heart of the ancient Roman Empire, a time filled with grandeur and conquest, a dark side lurked in its treatment of women. So today you can join us on a journey through history as we uncover the insane punishments inflicted upon women during this era. The Roman Empire, a society shaped by its hierarchical structure and patriarchal values, held a complex relationship with its women. While some enjoyed privileges, others were subjected to extreme punishments for transgressing societal norms. In the Roman era, 8 kinds of punishments were imposed upon its citizens: fines, fetters, flogging, retaliation in kind, civil disgrace, banishment, slavery, and death. You might think that the Roman Empire believed in equality because their punishments towards each gender was equal. There was no mercy bestowed upon a woman for being a woman, and they were punished accordingly for their crimes. Some might say that they were punished much more severely than the medieval men. You might assume that the times were better then, but it was one of the most difficult times for women as well because their value as women relied upon their status. The Roman era was also a dark period, as it was when witches were burnt on the pyre without proof. A mere accusation sufficed to send them to their deaths. Each crime a woman committed was considered to be more grave than the crime of a man. For example, adultery, which was considered a grave offense, had severe consequences for women in ancient Rome. However, it was only a grave crime if a woman were to commit it. If a woman committed adultery, she could be punished by divorce, fines, and demotion in social status. Yet at the same time, men's sexual activity was considered as adultery only if committed with a married citizen woman. And often, for those accused women, punishment went beyond social stigma. But more than adulterous women, the women the Roman Empire feared and loathed most were those who dabbled in magic. Accusations of witchcraft brought forth a different punishment, fueled by superstitions and fear. Women accused of practicing witchcraft faced exile or even execution. These witches would first be tortured to extract information, and after their admission of guilt, they would be executed. Some were even burnt to the pyre. As you can see here, a woman being burnt at the stake because she was accused of witchcraft. It seems horrifying that women were burnt without evidence or proof of them being witches. The accused witches would be executed in front of everyone to incite fear within witches' hearts. However, the Roman Empire struggled with the witches for a long time. But what the empire hated most was any sort of challenge against the crown. So women who dared to challenge the might of the empire faced dire consequences. One thing you might not like about the Roman Empire is that the punishment of women depended upon their social status. The punishment for a given crime depended on your citizenship status and social class. Apparently in the Roman era, actresses were considered to be just a little above prostitutes. If they were ever harmed, men would claim that it is tradition to do so. It's safe to say that men were never punished for rape. However, the Romans were always quick to punish its female citizens. Those accused of treason or political conspiracies were subjected to brutal punishments. Crimes, regardless of the individual's status as a slave or free person, were typically dealt with swiftly in terms of punishment. For lesser offenses, women could expect to endure a harsh beating, flogging, or even having their foreheads branded. Can you imagine being flogged in public for even slandering someone? That was the price women had to pay during the Roman Empire. It looks horrifying, and I can't imagine how it must have felt. These punishments were often executed in front of the public to instill fear and fealty to the crown. However, in cases of more serious crimes, punishments escalated to include blinding, tongue removal, or ear amputation. Capital punishment options encompassed being buried alive, impaled, or notably, crucified. Flogging, slavery, and forced labor were horrifying punishments inflicted upon women during the Roman Empire. This is the slave market where slaves were sold during the Roman Empire. Here, women were sold like cattle to a farmer, where the feelings and respect were forgotten. The consequences of these punishments were far-reaching, leaving an indelible mark on the lives of women in ancient Rome. Stripped of their dignity and basic rights, these punishments perpetuated the subordinate status of women in Roman society. It's important to note that Roman society was not unified, and perspectives on these punishments differed greatly. Some saw these punishments as necessary for societal order, while others questioned the brutality and called for reform. As we reflect on the insane punishments inflicted upon women during the Roman Empire, we recognize the significance of understanding this dark chapter in history. Thank you for joining us on this journey to understand the history of women. If you like this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you again.